Oh, me! I'm Daryl Crittenden. I have heard of William Shakespeare. I believe he was a playwright of sorts. No, I've done Shakespeare forever. The first play I ever did 100 years ago was Romeo and Juliet, and I actually have Shakespeare tattooed on me. It was the first lines I ever said on stage.
What?
And yeah,
share.
That
is such a good idea.
Find them out whose names are written here. I played Erica and I both.
We both played Peter.
We both played
in the same production.
Let me just no.
Siamese twins.
Let's try that whole sentence again. We both played a role called Peter in Romeo and Juliet, which was Juliet has a nurse, the nurse has a man, the man's name is Peter. There you go. He's how they found out about the party.
Yeah.
And I've done some other Shakespeare since then too. I did the last play I did in LA was a comic book reimagining of the Scottish play. Are we gonna not be allowed?
What?
Yeah.
Really? That's
it was
awesome.
really neat. And because
Are you not saying it because you're superstitious?
no, I'm not saying it because you gave me a ton of crap.
Actually,
about it.
I can tell you. Can I just put forward what I am? This is Geek and Sundry, and this is Legendary. We're already cursed. It's Macbeth.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
great.
Macbeth.
So
Yeah.
I did a Macbeth where it was. I'll tell you all about it later. But I did a
This
Macbeth.
isn't a real theater.
Okay,
Oh.
fine.
This is web television.
I got to see. Gosh, I can't remember which one they did first, but I want to say it was Much Ado. And they did it with like these bowler hats and like it was like this really, and it was this great physical theater company based out of New York called Aquila, which then branched out here, who I got to do the comic book reimagining with as Sidicus out here. And but like when you saw it, like, because I mean, reading in high school was like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like the Bible or something. And I'm from the South, so that makes sense. But then like you see it and you see it physicalized, and you're just like, holy shit! Like you're just like this is a moving all one song, everybody singing together, and it's just amazing. But yeah, it was like seeing it live is like the first time you see a great production. Not like no offense to everybody needs that community theater spirit, but like the first time you see a professional like staging, and you're just like, I've done nothing. I must go and like fight something and make something of my life now. You know, it's just like it's the best.
Do we have a volunteer for the first?
Yeah.
I mean, performer.
Oh wow. Well,
is there a volunteer? In the words of another
Daryl,
immortal bard.
I think Daryl.
yeah, I made the
If
mistake
you
of
insist on
talking.
lagging behind, you may not need
You
to
started
volunteer.
making bold statements
I
about
did.
Shakespeare
Yeah.
first.
And now I'm gonna sit down and read it and not do anything grotesque like at all.
That's fine.
Yeah, I gotta read because I didn't. The only stuff I have memorized is stuff that I did like 100 years ago, and I don't even have all of it memorized anymore. In the comic I played, so the comic book show that I loved, it was actually called A Tale Told by an Idiot. And in it, there's a thing that, like, they don't know if Shakespeare influenced Guy Fawkes or if Guy Fawkes was influenced by Macbeth. It happened around the same time. The remember the.
Oh, they
the
were
Fifth
all
of November.
stealing from each other.
They were all
They were all stealing
well.
from
Guy Fawkes was murdering people, but yeah, it's, you know.
And probably stealing from some people. I mean, not words,
Yeah.
but
It
stealing
was all
from
the
them.
same thing, really, if you get down to it. Because I mean, really, literature theft is murder. But so we did this piece that was like Guy Fawkes. I played Macbeth, and Guy Fawkes would literally. We did it behind a scrim with flashlights. It was super like pretentious and amazing. But it was really fun. But like literally, like we were all in black, so Guy Fawkes could literally climb out of my chest. And it was like the actor I worked with is the best Shakespearean actor I've ever worked with. His name is Louis Butelli. I think he's doing DC's and DC at the Kennedy Center maybe doing some stuff. He's amazing.
Wow.
So if you ever get to see a play and you see Louis Butelli, it's going to be the best. And we did this whole thing, and it ran at the Fringe and then ran longer, and it was the last play I've ever done because it was hard. It was really, really hard. I didn't know it would be so hard.
But Guy Fawkes crawl out of your chest?
Guy Fawkes crawled out of my chest.
I can only do it once.
Hey! Oh.
I just want to know what the face hugger was that
I was
implanted
gonna
Guy
say
Fawkes.
like tiger.
Because, yeah, it's gotta be
Tiger Fox.
What's What's the face hugger version of Guy Fawkes?
Yeah.
It's just a V for
It's just
Vendetta
a
mask.
it's like I was about to say. I was literally about to say that. Yeah, it just like attaches itself to your face.
I'm
It's like
picturing
your
now the
4chan.
mask with the fingers coming off the sides.
Now I gotta see if I can find my monologue.
I first learned about Guy Fawkes from my collection of notable British trials of the 15th through 18th centuries. Which
A book everyone has.
it's a collection.
It's a coffee table book,
Classic
right?
reading. Classic.
It's on everybody's
It was my
book.
favorite volume, just because
It's on the back of
I found the whole
everyone's
notion
toilet.
very fascinating.
Yeah, freshman year of college, that one.
Yeah,
That-
well,
Yeah.
we get weird things from our family, and I got a collection of notable British trials.
I got a lot of Alabama memorabilia from my family, sports stuff.
That can't be good.
Oh, okay, like
Roll
sports
Tide.
stuff.
Roll Tide.
Okay.
Thank you. Texas, back there. All right, so I'm going to read from Richard II, which he was the second Richard. And it's actually the speech from the Duke of Norfolk, which happens in Act 1, Scene 3. If you're reading at home, you can follow along. That's what that felt like. So
Give him a moment to turn to the right page.
Everybody buy their thing.
Okay.
Thanks. This is after King Richard has just banished the Duke of Norfolk, who is basically like, if you're watching Law and Order, he's the guy that he went that way, and causes the rest of the play to happen. He's that guy, which I love. After playing Peter, I think small roles are pretty much what makes Shakespeare
Oh,
worthwhile.
100%.
A heavy sentence, my most sovereign liege, and on looks for from your highness' mouth. A dearer merit, not so deep a maim as to be cast forth in the common air. Have I deserved at your highness' hands the language I have learnt these 40 years? My native English now I must forego, and now my tongue's use to me is no more than an unstringed viol or a harp, or like a cunning instrument, cased up or being open, put into the hands that knows no touch to the tune the harmony. Within my mouth, you have enjailed my tongue. Doubly portcullis'd with my teeth and lips, and dull, unfeeling, bearing ignorance is made my jailer to attend on me. I am too old to fawn upon a nurse, too far in years to be a pupil now. What is thy sentence then but speechless death, which robs my tongue from breathing native breath? And what's great about him is, thank you.
Are we
doing this?
snapping? I don't know. I was moved to clap, but
What-
Can be put in a mid.
What's great about the Duke of Norfolk is he actually probably was set up by Richard II, so he's a fall guy who actually probably did hired someone to murder the Duke of Gloucester, and it caused this whole thing. And he was like, "Well, I'm not guilty, and I would like trial by combat," which I think is something that we should bring back in the world.
for real though.
It still exists
You
in little
wouldn't
pockets.
say that though because you're like okay.
I am nothing.
Somebody
Trial by
won.
combat.
Somebody won a court case that way, like about a decade ago, where they
Shut up.
found that they'd never gotten rid of trial by combat and like threw down
That's
the gauntlet,
amazing.
and they were like, "Yeah, no, you're fine."
Who fought it? Oh, nobody.
I want to go.
It was some SCA. It was some SCA.
No, I'm saying
That's
who
so
did the court
great.
appoint?
Like,
I'm gonna
just
go to
take
there
on the
and like
combat.
speed.
No, they
just through
didn't
there.
get that far.
Oh, okay.
I demand a champion.
like legit, I would carry a gauntlet in my car all the fucking time if that were the. Oh,
Just in case.
what state are we in? Bam! And just drop it. Go, go,
No,
go,
you
go.
should
Wait.
carry a gauntlet anyway. It's, a little bit, it's better than dropping a mic.
I know. I much prefer gauntlet drops.
Yes.
Actually, I love that one. And
Follow will follow
Yeah.
you to the grave.
were you in Fantastic?
No,
Did you do it?
I dropped
this
out of
bitterness?
the Fantastics once though, so that counts.
Did you play?
Were you the boy?
Mime.
Yeah, the
The
wall.
mime.
Yeah.
No, the mime.
It's very Shakespearean. It's very.
It is
it's
very
a
Shakespearean.
And that's why they did it at the Shakespeare Festival. But they're like, wait,
I got to play.
we can't do Shakespeare.
I played a couple of mimes, and one of them was in a Shakespeare. Again, another retelling was the Donkey Show.
Yes.
And I was
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Donkey Show in New York at the what was it the El Flamingo? I don't remember.
That ran forever. Yeah.
It
that
ran
was-
forever, and I played Dr. Wheelgood, which I was head to toe in gold and on roller skates. And the play is like in a studio.
Dr. Wheelgood.
Yeah.
Keep
And
going.
it
I'm
was
with you.
great. And like
Oh my
I'm
God.
basically rolling around in like short shorts with little stockings on,
So
getting.
you're Kylie Minogue.
It's but like hot, you know. And I'm just rolling around, and like they're spilling drinks because the play is happening on a dance floor with the public, and you're just like, it's just so bad. But it was so much fun too because I didn't have to talk, and I got to roller skate around and get grabbed a lot. But it was all right. I remember the guy who played Romeo got super angry at me because you say like 4 lines and then you stand there with Mercutio and Romeo for like 10 minutes. So I was like, what do I do when I stand? Because it was the first play I'd ever done. And they're like, I don't know, just come up with something. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my God!
So I started I started scratching my head and I was like,
Doing like a space work.
Yeah, I can see why they like.
and then I'm like, I drop one and I'm like, like that. The guy that played, he's one of my best friends now. He came up, but we didn't know each other. He came up behind me, like we were doing makeup, which I was doing too much, and he like put his hands on my shoulder. He's like, never upstage me. And just looks at me in the mirror. Whoa. And he's like twice my size, and I was just like, and he was like the big shit in my town, and I was like, yeah. Yes. Sorry. So like the rest of the play, I just said my lines and then just stood there, didn't fucking move.
He told you do whatever. I think that's
the director told me to do whatever. The lead actor who could beat the shit out of me said don't.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
How many bugs did you eat when you did it?
Scene in Casablanca where the 2 main characters are having that conversation.
Yeah.
And there's the guy eating fleas from his own hair right off to the right. You know.
It's classic. Shakespeare wanted it, I could tell.